I want to open up and show you some Pirates of Dark Water action figures that actually got released of the 1991 cartoon when it originally aired. I only know it from reruns on Cartoon Network maybe a couple years later. It was an awesome cartoon that I always enjoyed. I used to cut my old ninja swords up to look like the hero's sword, like half broken. And I always had little jewels to be the treasures of rule that they were searching for in the show. And one time I did find the action figures in a discount store, but they didn't have Ren, the hero character, so I just never got any of them since I didn't want just the villains figures only. We'll just open them all up new to add to my collection. We'll start with just the hero figures of the set. They have their own colored carding, orange and blue, with the hero's ship, the Wraith, pictured on it. Hasbro made. And they do have little bios on the back. This is Ren. You can pause and read through his little bio. It's just their info from the show. Really awesome packaging with a huge picture of the character from the cartoon. I feel like they put these on bigger card backs to make it seem like you were getting a cooler toy, even though it's actually pretty small on this card. And all these are kind of bent up and kind of weird, so not gonna feel too bad cracking them open fresh. Definitely always wanted these, but could never get Ren. So, got the figure here. He is just a 5-point, I believe, with the arms moving around, the legs just kind of turning. Can't go up too much farther. It can go back quite a bit. So he has a full turn head. Stylish ponytail in the back. Of course, this was like a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, which is why the Cartoon Network was able to get it for all of its reruns and such. Which again, if you haven't seen the cartoon, it was pretty awesome. Really good animation. The hands are just kind of holes that are going to hold those accessories. So he comes with this kind of little dagger here, a little stylish in its own way, because both hands can hold, so a lot of them do come with 2 weapons. And he does have his sword, but he doesn't have it with that short kind of cut off look that you can even see on the box. So I can guarantee you, if when I was a little kid, if I would have had this, I would have got a big pair of scissors and cut this to make it look like his sword from the cartoon. I wouldn't have wanted a full-size sword. But that just fits right down in there, and he can even hold his other weapon too. He can have double, or maybe kind of defensive like with the knife. In that way, they're just painted solid gold, so they don't have a lot of details on them or anything. But weirdly enough, they don't come with any of the treasures or things like that. Like that would have been a little collect them all kind of thing. If you get every figure, you'd have some of the treasures that appeared in the first groups of episodes. But they did not do that. So no compass for around the neck for Ren, or any of his other treasures of rule. And also not really the right sword, but I don't know if this was going to be like, in the end he'd get the full sword repaired or something on the show, because it was like broken. But I feel like with his costume he got quite a bit of his detail from the show. And he does have painted eyes and stuff, so he's pretty solid there. They didn't go with white or anything to fully flesh him out. But he looks pretty good with the proper skin tone. Maybe he could have been a little darker, but has like the hair and all his color of his costume pretty nicely done. But they are just 5-point figures, but that was kind of fairly standard of this time period anyway. 1990, what the boxes marked, so I feel like they were planning the toys before the show was even really done and ready to air. Probably the most accurate and best figure of the whole set here is Niddler. It looks almost exactly like his cartoon counterpart. We'll take a close look at him here. I always love when these still have a price tag on them so you can kind of see. $4.79 at Kmart. Decent price, but I remember finding them at a discount store for like $2 before. But they were missing characters. So another price tag, and then Niddler's bio on the back. You can read through that. We got very big actually in this. And you can see he's kind of like at his knees here to fit in the packaging. So to stand him up, we'll have to turn his legs. Get a Niddler opened. Is that the theme song? Monkey Bird. Comes with a club. I'm not recalling him using a weapon in the show. He's usually just trying to find some food. It's his main goal there. But if you want to have him fight, so again, these legs here. Actually, I'm not sure if he's going to stand up very well. He's kind of body with the 5 points, just a turning kind of head. But we have wings, so that's actually 2 more things to articulate. Plus the tail, so he's kind of a 8-point kind of figure. Full turns on the wings, so pretty cool. Yeah, he'll probably kind of have to sit, because he can't stand, because he's kind of got his claws out, like maybe he can grab the other characters, because he would often fly them away. He was strong enough to carry one human They need a little transport, but dang, it looks really good, just like the cartoon show. He's got full colored feathers on his wings of all his different colors. A little bit weird hand here. So I guess they just wanted to kind of give him a weapon just so he could do something in a fight. For play reasons anyway. He can kind of hold this. I almost feel like maybe he was going to come with a second weapon, but like maybe like a chicken leg or some food to hold in this hand. Like he's... because it's kind of sideways the way that one's going to hold. But interesting. And again, they didn't paint the weapons. They're just solid color, but fairly standard of this time period anyway. I think I'm just more impressed that the character has so many colors on it with his beak and eyes and everything, and all those colors on the feathers. So Niddler's probably about the coolest, most accurate one to the show by far. And he's kind of deluxe with all his extra bits. I think he's maybe a little too big in scale though. I think he was maybe a little smaller in the show, but still awesome to have old Niddler. We got Ayaz here. Can't quite tell what his accessory is, so I'm going to be interested to open this up and check this out. With an awesome picture of him on the cover here on his card back, but that kind of shows how kind of inaccurate the figure is as far as some of the colors and look here. But we'll check him out here. He's got his bio on the back of the card to check out too. Was with the bad guy pirate dude and kind of quit, left on his own. Then he joined Ren in his quest to find the treasures of Rule. Oh. Wow, I see. So it's like a quiver and his bow and arrow thing, which I believe he did kind of have some kind of dragon-y bow shooter weapon in the cartoon. But he's got like a quiver here, like a belt he can put on him. So for his likeness, not quite like the show one with some of the colors here, just kind of simplified or just wrong colors. Doesn't have extra color here and there where he probably needs it. Stop. And then the skin tone is like a zombie gray. I'm not sure why he didn't get his normal kind of skin tone from the show, but I guess they're just going for some different color palettes here to make them look unique. He's just going to be a 5-point guy too. Got some of his little details and jewelry and things, but he's probably missing a lot of his real cartoon imagery details. Unfortunately. The sword seems fairly accurate to what he would use in the show. That's a good accessory there too, with that bow and arrow combo. I'm not sure how you're intended to put it, just because how it was bent so strangely in the packaging. Seems like it's too long to just be going around the waist. Just too much slack on that. He must need to do it across his body. So I'm not sure if that adds any detail that he needed for the show. It's kind of strange, but still you have the bow and arrow quiver, and then this has like a little handle nub that can go down into the hand. It's not real solid in there though. It's like two like bolts or bow, like arrows in there. You got the little string piece that's pretty flimsy. Not sure how he's really supposed to be holding it. Maybe in this hand like this. Doesn't really grip it too well, but it almost stays. I don't know, it was kind of a cool looking weapon, but there's not a good way for him to hold it particularly. You can hold it this way, but it's the wrong way. The string is away from him, so not a solid way for that one. But the sword, but even that is loose in his hand too, so his hand is kind of too big for any of the accessories. A little bit disappointing, because he was already a poorly colored one from the cartoon. Now he can't really hold his accessories either, so kind of a weak one there, but he was a major character on the crew of the heroes on the show. And he does kind of have like a scar detail and things like that. There's just bits that are just not included that really should have been. But still happy to have him with the crew. And the last member of the crew, Zoolie. What? Wait a minute. This is a huge disappointment for me. They didn't do the Tula figure, their female crew member. This is kind of still back when they were deathly afraid of making the girl character with action figures because it wouldn't sell. Well, spoiler alert, Zoolie was quite plentiful at the discount store, unsold. Nobody wanted Zoolie. He was only in like 3 episodes of the whole show. He did not sail about with them looking for the treasures. He was just some fat jerk guy. But I guess they thought he looked more piratey. But dang, a Tula figure would have been 1,000 times better than this. You can read his stupid bio. You can tell this one's in a little better shape because nobody was interested in opening this up. But I am, because I'm stupid. Woo! Far cry from being Tula by any means. He's also kind of missing some green and some colors from the cartoon, but he does have these gloves. This ribbon is just kind of a random addition. Again, they were just like, oh, I want more piratey looking characters with crazy hair and stuff. Again, they are super detailed, really, though. I mean, the other characters, I was kind of thinking more of the show. Here I'm just thinking, like, look at all the extra effort they did put into, like, the hair and all his clothes to make him kind of look more like a crazily dressed pirate. So that is cool. Has a little axe weapon here, which I think in the show he might have had crossbows or something, so not even really accurate weapons, but cool looking for just the toy aspect. And he has a crappy little sword, almost like a tiny katana. Not real piratey. He probably should have had one of his crossbows or something to be more intimidating. Again, you really should have did the Tula action figure, not Zoolie. What is this? Tubby, red-headed goofball. But to finish the whole hero collection, I grabbed him as well as the others. And we'll be looking at the villain pirates next. Stay tuned, get subscribed, leave a like, and talk about your memories of this cartoon if you remember it. And I'll also be getting their boat. So do stick around, and I hope to see you in the next video.